This is a review of the iPhone 14 Pro. Well, I actually have the Pro Max, but it's all the same. And I want to discuss it with you today. See, it's been 6 months since the iPhone 14 Pro was released. And here's the question we want to answer. Is it still the best phone on the market? The iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max introduced a lot of new features to the iPhone lineup. We're talking about the A16 Bionic system on a chip, an always-on display, and a 48 megapixel main camera sensor, among other things like the new deep purple color. But since then, we've seen other flagship phones, particularly from Google with their Pixel 7 Pro and Samsung with their S23 Ultra. In fact, I just did a review of the S23 Ultra and it's an impressive phone. I mean, you have a beautiful 6.8-inch 120Hz OLED display, the built-in S Pen, and a 200 megapixel main camera sensor. Now, the iPhone is due to be refreshed again in September, meaning we're going to see Apple's answer to the market and what innovations they've been working on. But in the meantime, is the iPhone 14 Pro Max still worth getting, especially with other newer flagships out there? Let's dig in. Let's start with the 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR display. It has what Apple calls ProMotion technology, which is essentially just a variable refresh rate. The display can vary its refresh rate between 1 to 120 Hz, which makes for smooth menu navigation, gaming, movie watching, and so on. But it also makes the always-on display possible, because when you lock your phone, the display dims and reduces its refresh rate down to around 1 Hz to save on battery life. This is Apple's first always-on display, and they are definitely not the first to the market. But one thing they've done a bit differently is made it quite a bit brighter than others. In fact, sometimes I think that the display is just straight up on, but then I pick it up and realize it's just the always-on mode. That takes some getting used to, but overall, it's useful to have the always-on display. Plus, you can customize the widgets on the lock screen so you can see certain information even when the phone is in standby mode. For example, I can see the time, the weather outside, and my watch battery charge. If you're playing music, you'll also get the artist and song info with the album art. Another cool feature of iOS 16 is focus modes, where you can have different customized lock screens depending on your current activity. If you long press on your lock screen, you can switch between the lock screens and you can see each one has a focus mode like personal, work, or sleep. I actually have a schedule set up that automatically switches my lock screen and focus depending on the time. It means I don't have to worry about remembering to switch the focus. This display is also quite bright as well. You can actually get up to 2000 nits peak brightness if you're out in the sun, which means it's bright and visible no matter what situation you're in. Now let's discuss this dynamic island. This is an interesting invention. On the one hand, Apple has come up with an ingenious solution to hide the Face ID sensors and the front-facing camera by creating this graphical element that surrounds the sensor and the camera and adds extra status and quick actions to create something actually quite useful. On the other hand, the iPhone is the only phone that needs a dynamic island in the first place. The S23 Ultra, for example, has a simple and unobtrusive hole punch camera, which is far less noticeable than the dynamic island. That said, the dynamic island does serve a useful purpose. It makes for a helpful status indicator on several background tasks on your phone. For example, if you do an Apple Pay transaction, it shows you that Face ID has been accepted as the authentication method. If you receive a file through AirDrop, it shows you the file transfer status and a check mark when it's complete. If you set a timer, the island will show you the countdown so you're not left guessing how long you have left. If you're on a phone call, it shows you the ongoing duration of the call. If you're listening to any kind of audio, the dynamic island will show you a small image of album art along with the volume gauge. A lot of times, there are additional things you can do if you long press on the dynamic island. For example, playback controls for music, call controls for phone calls, starting and stopping timers, and so on. The dynamic island may seem like a gimmick to some, but it actually provides a significant quality of life improvement for iPhone 14 Pro users. Its ability to display useful information related to ongoing tasks, as well as provide quick actions, makes it a feature that is both practical and enjoyable to use. When it comes to performance, this device is powered by the A16 Bionic system on a chip, which is Apple's first 4nm chip. This makes it slightly faster than the A15 Bionic found in the iPhone 13 Pro. Interestingly, this new chip is also designed to use less power while still delivering top-notch performance. And thanks to that improved efficiency, the iPhone 14 Pro boasts an impressive battery battery life. We're talking about an estimated 23 hours of video playback on the iPhone 14 Pro and 29 hours on the Pro Max. Additionally, the iPhone supports fast charging, allowing it to charge up to 50% in just 30 minutes. The A16 Bionic chip found in the iPhone 14 Pro is the most powerful mobile processor on the market today. It is faster than many of its competitors, such as Qualcomm's Snapdragon 888 and even the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 in the new S23 Ultra. In benchmark tests, the A16 Bionic chip has consistently outperformed other mobile processors in both single-core and multi-core tests. The A16 Bionic chip is a powerhouse competitor in the mobile processor space and sets the iPhone 14 Pro apart from other phones in terms of performance. The iPhone 14 Pro's camera system is one of the most impressive and important features of the phone. It features a triple lens camera system with a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, and a 12 megapixel telephoto sensor. It's also equipped with a LiDAR scanner, which improves autofocus and low light performance. The 48 megapixel main sensor is a significant improvement over the previous iPhone models. It captures more detail and produces sharp, high-quality images, even in low-light conditions. Now, you don't get a 48 megapixel image by default. The iPhone 14 uses pixel binning on the 48 megapixel main sensor to produce a 12 megapixel image. Pixel binning combines 4 pixels into one, resulting in a 12 megapixel image with increased detail and reduced noise. The ultra-wide sensor is perfect for capturing landscapes and wide-angle shots, while the telephoto sensor allows for impressive zoom capabilities. With this lens, you can achieve up to 3x optical zoom, which is great for getting closer to your subject without physically moving closer. The camera system includes a digital zoom that can go up to 15x. The iPhone 14 Pro's advanced image processing software helps to maintain the quality of the image even at higher zoom levels, but keep in mind that anything after 3x is digital zoom, which can result in a loss of the quality of the image. While the iPhone zoom is impressive, it doesn't match up to the zoom capabilities of the Samsung S23 Ultra. The S23 Ultra's telephoto lens enables up to 10x optical zoom, plus the S23 Ultra's digital zoom can go up to 100x, allowing for extreme zoom-ins. So the S23 Ultra has the iPhone beat handily there. One of the standout features of the camera system on the iPhone is the improved night mode, which is enhanced by the built-in LiDAR scanner. And night mode now works better than ever, producing brighter and more detailed images with less noise. This means that even in the darkest environments, the iPhone 14 Pro can capture pretty clear and vivid photos. Here are a few examples. The results are pretty great overall. Keep in mind that when using night mode that it can be slow to capture photos. Because night mode requires a longer exposure time to capture more light, it can take several seconds for the camera to capture the image. So make sure you hold the phone steady until the exposure is done. If you want to unleash the full power of the camera system, you can shoot in Apple's Pro RAW format, which allows you to capture a full 48 megapixel image and skip the pixel binning process. When shooting in Pro RAW format, file sizes will be larger than traditional photos due to the increased amount of data being captured. The Pro RAW format captures all of the data from the camera sensor, allowing for more flexibility in post-processing and editing. This increased data also means that Pro RAW files can take up more storage space on your device. A Pro RAW file can range from 25 to 40 megabytes in size. However, the ability to capture images with a higher dynamic range and more detail can be worth the larger file sizes for photographers who require more control over their images. But that's not necessary for the average user, and I'd recommend you stick to shooting in the default format to save on storage space. The true depth camera on the iPhone 14 Pro is the selfie camera on the front of the phone. It's a 12 megapixel front-facing camera that also supports night mode as well as portrait mode. And while people may compare portrait mode against other phones out there, I think it does a nice job here on the iPhone. Overall, the iPhone 14 Pro's camera system is a significant upgrade over previous models and is one of the best camera systems on the market, but it objectively falls short of some of the S23's capabilities. The iPhone 14 Pro boasts an improved gyroscope and accelerometer to provide advanced crash detection. This feature is designed to detect when the phone has been involved in a significant impact, such as a car crash. If the phone detects a crash, it'll automatically send an alert to you asking if you are okay. If you don't respond within a certain amount of time, the phone will automatically call emergency services and share your location. It definitely provides an added layer of safety for iPhone 14 Pro users. However, there is a possibility of false crash detections. For example, if the phone is dropped or bumped, it may trigger the crash detection feature and send an alert to you. Or if you're skiing and you take a hard fall, for example. I haven't heard of too many false triggers though, so it does seem like they have it pretty dialed in. The iPhone 14 Pro also includes another new feature that allows users to send emergency messages even when they are out of range of a cellular network. This feature is called Emergency SOS via satellite, and it uses satellite technology to connect to emergency services in remote areas. When activated, Emergency SOS will attempt to connect to emergency services using a satellite connection. If a connection is established, you can send emergency messages even if you're out of range of your network. It also provides your location to emergency services, allowing them to quickly locate and assist you. Emergency SOS is a huge improvement over traditional emergency services, which rely solely on the phone networks. This feature definitely provides added safety for users who venture into areas with no or limited cellular coverage. Emergency SOS has already been responsible for numerous remote rescues. For example, 2 women in British Columbia were rescued after getting lost driving through backcountry service roads where eventually they got their vehicle stuck. Search and Rescue said that without emergency SOS, it may have taken the team over a week to find the women. So I'd count this feature as one you never want to use, but you're glad you have. Hopefully more smartphone makers can follow soon with this important life-saving feature. To sum things up, the iPhone 14 Pro is still an impressive phone that boasts several notable features like the A16 Bionic chip, which is the best mobile processor, new cutting-edge safety features, an always-on display, great battery life, and an impressive camera system with a 48 megapixel main sensor. Despite being 6 months old, it continues to be one of the top performing phones on the market, and for good reason. Basically, the iPhone 14 Pro is a solid choice for anyone in the market for a new phone. It doesn't have all the features of some of the competing phones though. I think the S23 Ultra has some things going for it, like the S Pen and a 200 megapixel wide camera that the iPhone can't really match. But overall, the iPhone 14 Pro is still an excellent phone, and it has some of its own features that you can't get anywhere else. Should you wait until the iPhone 15 Pro comes out? I'll leave that up to you. Is the iPhone 14 Pro still a solid choice today? Definitely. What do you think of the iPhone 14 Pro? Do you have one? How do you think it stacks up against other phones in the market? Let me know in the comments. Also, leave a like on this video if you've made it this far. That helps me out immensely because the more folks who like the video, the more it gets pushed out to other folks who might want to check it out. If you like tech, consider subscribing to my channel. I discuss all kinds of tech, but I often discuss smart home tech as well as smartphones and all the apps and services that go along with it. You can also follow me on Twitter at technology_Paul. And then if you want even more, you should sign up for my monthly newsletter, The Digital Dispatch with Technology Paul. It's a monthly recap that shares some of my best videos with you, as well as some of my latest blog posts, and even gives you a preview of what's coming up on my channel. Plus, I like to curate other tech news that I find interesting but don't get a chance to discuss on the channel. And there's one more great benefit. My newsletter subscribers get access to exclusive content. In fact, I've got these awesome new wallpapers that were designed exclusively for my followers. These are fun and cool looking wallpapers you can download and set as your background. Maybe you can have them all set with different focus modes like I showed on the iPhone. And you can get these wallpapers for free. Just click the link in the description and sign up for my newsletter. And right after subscribing, you'll get an email with the link. Eventually, you'll hit a page that asks you to choose your own price. If you want to provide me a tip for the content or for the cool wallpaper, feel free, but actually you can just put in $0 and then hit download. So no worries there. Definitely check it out with the link in the description. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.